How easy is it for us to blame other people for the things that are going wrong in our life and our business? Business coach Darien Jay, who talks about the point of power. Are you blaming, denial, excuses for all these things that may be going wrong, or are you taking responsibility? Let's take a listen to the great insight that Darien shares. Darien, tell me about your journey. Why business coaching for you?
So I should start by saying that I wear a few hats in my business life. I own two companies, a consultancy firm and a property management business. And I found the first business in 2017. So spent 3.5 years running that pretty much by myself. A couple of colleagues came in and out in that time. But it was in 2021 that I received a message on LinkedIn through a chap called Tom Orchurch over at ActionCOACH in Stroud in the UK. And he just asked how things were going in the business. Long story short, I started working with Tom as my business coach in 2021. And over the next year or two, I saw the benefits of what business coaching offered to my company and to me personally. Honest, Michelle, I completely drank the Kool-Aid. I fell in love with what business coaching was doing for my life, for my business. At that point, I hadn't bought the property management company, my second business. So I just had a consultancy firm. I had a team by that point doing, quite frankly, most of the hard work. And I found myself with a fair amount of free time. And I think Tom's a smart guy. He realized that I was starting to have this free time and said to me, how about you spend some of that free time helping me as a business coach? And long and short of it, Michelle, I jumped at the chance. I really wanted to give something back to the community. And it sounds a bit corny, I know, but having that opportunity to see how others could benefit from what I felt I'd had the fortune to benefit from. So yeah, about 18 months ago, I sat my coaching qualifications, and now I coach not a huge amount of clients because I still have two companies to run as part of my day job, but I have a small selection of clients that I coach on a regular basis, and it's been absolutely fantastic to see the successes they've had, not only in their business life, but in their personal lives as well, from the back of having stable, successful businesses.
Darien, what was it that Tom helped you with in your business? You mentioned you saw an impact for you personally and in your business. I'm keen for you from the client perspective, as a client working with a business coach. What were the key things that really helped you in that business?
So Tom reminds me of this story on a regular basis, and everyone else that we coach together. Our first conversation went something like Tom asking me, was I happy with the business? Where is it going? And my answer was, I don't know what I want to do in my life, but I hate my job and I don't want to keep doing this. And that's a pretty low place to start a business coaching journey, I suspect. But what Tom did very well was gradually build me back up. First of all, to realize that my business shouldn't be a job. It should be something bigger than that. And from there, we started to figure out why I was hating what I was doing, where I could make it work, finding the things that I enjoyed that were part of the business that I'd almost forgotten about. And there were loads of things involved in that, bringing in team members to pick up some of the tasks that I wasn't enjoying at all, focusing my attention on why I had this company. And, it was relatively successful financially. It was just getting me down, doing the day-to-day, working 60, 70 hours a week. Gary Keating, in one of your previous podcast episodes, talks a lot about exit planning, and he's spot on. For me, the exit goal was so important, figuring out, actually, why am I doing this? Oh, yeah, it's to provide for my family. It's to have a life that I enjoy. And it's to remove that ego of having a business for the sake of having a business and producing something that one day will get me to a point in my life when I'm satisfied, when I'm financially stable, financially free, and I can choose to work. And that's a whole different mindset from turning up 9 to 5 8 to 8, whatever it used to be, because I have to. And that was all down to Tom, really, understanding that mindset shift and getting me there in the right way without. I think we've got to be very careful with our clients. We talk a lot about disc profiling, action coach, behavior profiling. I think if we push people the wrong way, then sometimes they can get defensive about these things. And Tom figured out exactly which buttons to press for me to get me there in the right way.
And so you being able to get him to future vision what the organization team would look like was able just for him to get the clarity that he needed for the type of team that he wanted to build for the business that he wanted to create. And so what has that meant for him today?
So Ahmed's business is on its way to 10xing. He's still got a long way to go, but in terms of the outputs, there's a clear direction now to how he wants to achieve that and how he's going to get there. And there's a big sales push in terms of bringing in the revenue to meet those targets. But he's also doing it the right way. It's not, grow to sell necessarily. There's a wider strategy for that, but we're doing it with the right back of house procedures, the right staffing, following, a lot. Again, I don't want to sound like I'm just preaching the Action Coach Bible here, but following a lot of the methodologies that we learn under Action Coach to help our clients get there. The one I suppose really stands out, not just for Ahmed, but for a lot of my clients, we talk about the point of power in Action Coach. And I link that with a concept that Jocko Willink coined called extreme ownership. And Jocko Willink, for anyone who's not familiar, Navy SEAL turned author, and he defines the concept of extreme ownership as everything that goes right is my doing, everything that goes wrong is my fault. And that's one thing that Ahmed and I worked on from the very start, is we can either deny that there's a problem, we can make excuses, we can look to blame other people, or we can turn that around and take responsibility, be accountable for everything that's going on, not only in our business lives, but in our personal lives as well, because as business owners, those two things tend to overlap quite a lot.
Hats off to you for committing to your learning by listening to this podcast. And if you'd like some help implementing some of these strategies, then click the link in the description to find your local action coach. They can help you put these strategies into action and take your business and your life to the next level. In the meantime, like and subscribe so that you're the first to get our next episode. We'll see you soon.